Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Black Expat Experience, a live show and podcast highlighting the lived experiences of Black expats around the world. I am Kendall Tyson, your host, licensed therapist, and a fellow Black expat living in Beijing. I always say this, but it's always true. We have another great episode in store for you today, and I would love for you to welcome my friend and our new guest, Quinnesian, to the show. Hey, Q.
Hello, everyone. I'm so excited.
I'm so happy for you to be here. All right. So I give all the guests their 1 minute to do their elevator pitch to the community about who you are, what's your thing. Please share with us a little bit about yourself.
All right. So I'm going to start with family. I am a mother of two beautiful Black children, raising them in China as third culture kids. I'm married to an amazing, supportive husband, Newbern Joyner. He is a secondary counselor. So now we work hand in hand together to impact lives. My backstory, when I think about it, I'm an expat as well, but a military dependent. My father, all throughout childhood, we were traveling with him over and abroad, and I loved this life. Even though there were challenges, I wanted my family to also experience it. So I am a helper at heart. I love to embrace people. I love new cultures. I love music. I am excited about what the future holds for me. I am 42, be 43 next month. I live a good life. I'm living a good life. There's some things that have happened in my life that have put things in perspective for me.
Yeah.
But overall, I give God glory for it, and I live a good life. I'm a school counselor in an international school. I was a school counselor for 2 years in the United States. Then I became a dean of students here when I was in another previous school. But I want to make sure that my impact goes deep, that I don't get so busy with the politics and the policies of things that I forget the importance of really digging deep and helping people and being that human side of what education brings. And as a Black woman, it's powerful. It's powerful. So that's me.
A mouthful.
I want to give it all to you.
You're gonna have plenty of time. Trust me. These questions, girl, we're gonna be digging deep.
Yeah.
I love, like you, I love living internationally. It is like nothing else. And I am so proud of you and your family for raising your children as global citizens. We know that it comes with its own challenges. However, having strong Black parents that are loving, caring, open-minded, and really and counselors on top of that. So you just have a different lens, although it is different to counsel on your own kids. Your perspective, I wonder, is it more softened? Is it more understanding? How would you describe it?
I think because we see so much as counselors.
Yeah.
When I feel both my husband and I, we partner up to make sure that we soften the blow for our kids, that we give them the tools that they need so that they're better prepared. And we believe in talking it out, talk it through. How is your day? Like really getting, how was your day? Who did what? Who did this? How can we improve? And it's almost like we're using those counseling skills on our kids firsthand.
Yeah.
To help them. But it does help them. There are so many things where my son will have to deal with a conflict. And when the teacher tells me what the concerns were, what happened, how he handles the conflict is the same way I would like encourage other kids. And I think that's powerful because he's mimicking me and my husband as we try to figure out how to help others. Our kids are seeing how to help themselves.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. We're just getting into it, but I love it already because we know the kids learn from what we do more often than what we say. So as adults with children, as adults without children, but honestly, we're secondary parents to other people's kids in the school. It is really like being congruent because the kid, what there's this saying that says you can't fool babies, old folks, like babies, old folks, and dogs. And
They
so
know.
they know when what you say and what you do are not in alignment.
Right.
And in the work that we're doing, in the space that we're doing it, in the times that we are engaged in the work, it's really crucial for us to be about the things we say we are about.
Yes.
So I want to get into, I mean, we're already into the conversation. You kind of gave us a little foray into how you became an expat on purpose out of your own choice. I'm curious about how long, like, what are some of the things that you've noticed? What has changed from living abroad through the military, but then also choosing to come abroad as like a citizen? What are the differences that you notice that you've been able to experience?
Well, I think from a personal lens, thinking about my personal journey, I came here. It started out with my parents. So I was the child, the kid. My brother and I were in tow. So we went through those experiences. I remember seeing my mom just really like spent because of packing every 3 years, having to, navigate her family. The military wasn't also, he was part of the army. So it wasn't also that forgiving in the process of how they did things. So it's like, you need to move. And just seeing my family dynamics go through so much in how they had to keep transitioning over and over again. And even myself, it was just hard to maintain friendships and relationships and to really put myself out there. I felt myself being more like included. I mean, not included, but I didn't feel like I belonged a lot. Because I was still always getting my footing. Like every time we moved, I felt like I was gaining stride, and then all of a sudden my father got orders. Now as an adult, and I know that's so interesting, why would you put your kids through this? Because I see the strength in it. I see that the world is so huge and so vast and so amazing that I wanted my children to at least experience that side of it when it came to, extending their hand and understanding language and being open-minded to other cultures. I wanted them to have that piece of it. And my thought was that I will help guide them through the other parts of it, where it's like you don't feel like you belong, you struggle with friendships and relationships. That was my hope, because my parents didn't have that experience. My parents didn't know how to help me in that way. Counselors weren't that extensive and needed in that process when in the 1990s or whatever.
They didn't look like us.
And they weren't international. They were not abroad, and it was, you deal with your own problems. So think about it, and as a reflection, I had to deal with a lot of this stuff on my own, as far as like how I felt internally, how every move affected everything about who I felt, my identity, who I was. And now as a parent, knowing those feelings and knowing those things that happened in my past, I wanted to make sure that my children had the best from me and my husband, so that we could guide them through that. We had to, the US at the time we left in 2019, we had to move. I was burnt out. I was falling out of love with counseling. And I was like, we need a change. And our family wasn't a family. Like, we weren't family. We weren't doing anything together. We were all doing our own stuff. And kids were active in things. I kept them active, but there was no vacations. There were no, moments to sit and reflect. We were busy trying to save money, raise money, do all these things to put us out there. And my answer in that fact, Kendall, was we got to go somewhere else that I can live really a balanced life. So to throw it all back, I think we didn't have the skills. I didn't have the support. I believed I could give that to my family. So that's the change. And then more of us are starting to branch out as well on this side. So that gives me hope.
That
gives.
And the org that we're collaborating to produce and to put out to the world is doing God's work with getting more skilled Black clinicians, women, men, non-binary, non-gender conforming, all identities,
We need everyone represented.
Exactly. To extend their expertise in the international arena, because I think schools are becoming more aware and hip to the realization that if your population's mental wellness, social emotional wellness is not a priority, you will begin to notice all of the other fractures in the way that the school community operates. And so
yes,
hiring qualified people, diverse people, not for the sake of diversity, because for us to even be considered, we got to be on our game. And this is
yes.
for people that like to call us diversity hires. I had to.
No, we bring it. When people,
Yes.
that's the thing I don't understand. Do not put me in that box, because I'm telling you, I'm coming with all the skills,
Yes.
all the certifications. I'm coming with the background, the experience, but not even that part. For the most part, I like to do our hats off. We're coming to excel and to bring our best to the table.
Yeah.
I'm going to put myself out here on this side, because the thought, Kendall, this is my thought when I became an international counselor, or coming abroad. I was like, oh my God, I'm be around so many competent, skilled, amazing educators.
Yes.
This side of the world, right? Right?
Yeah.
So I need to bring it. I need to bring all of my best. I come with 5 degrees. I come with years of experience. I've been in this. I don't have just a certificate. I've actually done this. I was a partner in a business with my husband on mental health counseling. This is not a game.
Right.
And then I'm bringing my whole family. So if I'm bringing my whole family, I'm dedicated and committed to this.
Exactly. Invested.
So don't shortchange me and think I'm just coming just to hang out with y'all. No, I'm coming to make an impact.
Right. Because I don't even want to do that. I ain't trying to hang out. I'm trying to, at least with other people.
I'm trying to find, I love the one question, chosen family. I'm trying to find my family, my group while I'm here. So we got each other's back and that we take care of each other.
Yeah.
While we're making, all of us in our respective places are making a difference. I don't even know why I got this.
I think I made that comment. It's like, listen, that's that parent thing.
Yes.
I think I'm just gonna stay on like this part for a minute, because it is about mental health and everything, but community. We know how vital community is for women like us, individuals like us, to be able to succeed. It is a necessity. And so just to give some background for everyone, we met at the ISCA conference was that March?
Yes.
Wait, was that March? Wait, what month is
that?
Oh, goodness gracious.
This is June.
It was
March, it's only been a short 2 months. Yeah. And we've connected.
My God. Why does it feel like forever? Which I'm happy about.
We are forever.
Facts. So Quinnesian and I and another host of amazing women. Hopefully you were able to watch the panel that we did a few weeks ago. We met at an ISCA conference in March in Bangkok. And when I tell you, like, the connections were instant, right? Just to be able to forge in that short span of time a community that will have ripple effects, for a long time and throughout the world. I am certain of this. So let me ask you, when it comes to, what do you look for when curating your, chosen family community of support, especially being a mom, a wife, counselor, professional? What does that look like for you?
Well, to be honest, it stems from, will I be able to have my children around you?
Oh, yes.
Because that's important to me in a way, because there are things that my husband and I do and don't do in front of our children. And I want to make sure that we keep that private and separate and respectful when it comes to our children. I don't want my children at the bars with all the staff members when we going out to eat. That's not my thing. because my children, again, I'm trying to preserve their innocence. I'm trying to make sure they have that level of separation. I don't want their teachers to feel comfortable in every very separate places. I want that to be where my child sees their teacher. Sometimes that flows over. Right. Or my child sees their teacher, you know, at school, and they have that break from them. So I try to keep them separate. That's the first thing. Like-mindedness, like, you know, we all trying to do the same thing. Have a great life, work-life balance, hopefully make impact and change, save some money, travel the world, create new experiences, you know, and we're open to, it doesn't always, because there's very few Black people here in China, you know that. Yeah. Open to people who desire connection as well, you know, and they believe in the importance of community, right? Like, I got your back, you got my back. If there's something going on in the community, like prime example, let me give one example. We got yellow coded last summer because of some place we traveled to. The community I stayed in, one of the young ladies, she's super sweet, Elizabeth, Black, female, comes from Florida. She was like, I'm gonna meet you in the park to get your groceries. You and I gonna go into midnight. Somebody got my back. I love it. You know, I meet you at the park at 12 p.m. so you can get your groceries that you can't get because it's outside the gate. I got you. That's community. That's somebody who's looking out for you overall and shares resources. And again, don't want nothing particularly from you. Just want you to win. Want you to be well. And that's how I think about things. And sometimes because I am still dealing with being an expat or a dependent, and having those experiences and relationships, and have difficulty sometimes connecting. It takes some consistency for me, like over time. I want to monitor it and see what we're doing and how we treat each other, how you treat other people. But the first thing, how you treat people, they can't get nothing from you. Look, I have nothing to give you, honestly. And if that wears out, are we still gonna be cool? Right. Are we gonna still be cool if I can't, you know, fulfill your need? Facts. And it's been kind of sketchy. I'll be honest with you. It's been sketchy. Yeah. But I do have a few that I can count on probably on one hand at this point. I've been here for 4 years that I can say that's my community. That's my chosen family. Those are the people that if I have to leave and skip town for a minute, they can make sure that my kids are okay. I know I can call on them for various things and they got my back. Yeah, I appreciate that. And hopefully they get to see, you know, this at some point and recognize that it's such an honor to when someone has gone through, I think as many things maybe as you have, and especially as I have, and then we make the very intentional decision to allow someone into our lives, in your case, and, you know, have an opportunity to influence your children, really just enhance the experiences that we have here. That is a lot to be responsible for. And everyone cannot uphold that responsibility. And I think that's one of the things that I just wish more people would recognize, that everybody is coming to these countries with something that we're trying to heal from, seeking something to really fulfill, you know, parts of our lives, whatever that may be, and just to be really intentional and open to meeting different people. I mean, I didn't come to China to necessarily, I mean, I love Black people, right? But I want to commune, I want to engage, I want to connect with all kinds of people. That's why we live abroad. But I know when it comes to safety, I recognize when it comes to understanding, for me, that has come through the lens of being in safe community with other Black women. Yeah. And with that being very few, Kendall, it's like, you know, we say this phrase, not all kinfolk, Black folk are kinfolk, right? Yeah. And right to that.
unfortunately.
It's a challenge. It's still a challenge because you still need to find your fit, your connection. I've found my connection with you all more than I have the people that live in my city
Girl.
with the Black collective. Do you understand? That's where it is, and we live so many other parts of the world. So trying to find my connection, it's very few. It's
Yeah.
very few. So then I have to branch out, and this is not a negative comment, but I'm open to branch out to other people that might not look like me, but might have the same family values.
Exactly. That's really important. Like the packaging doesn't have to be the same in order for the heart and the understanding and the value system to be aligned. I think I've always been a person that sought different multicultural connections. And so, you know what? Even at some point in my life, I felt like I was having some troubles with other, Black women in specific areas that I either worked in or lived in or at school. And I always wonder, like, am I doing something wrong? I am hella honest. I'm not trying to get them from you, but why do I keep butting heads with certain people? I've always wondered about that. And I've experienced some of that here in Beijing as well, that I can sniff it a mile away when you want to cling but not bring, right? And when we all met in Bangkok, I didn't feel any of that. All I felt was just warmth and welcoming.
Oh, yeah, same. And I like how you phrased that clean and bring.
Clean, bring. They want to clean, but they don't want to bring nothing.
They don't want to bring anything to the table. Right. And I don't know when we as Black women will ever find, other than my experience with you on Bangkok, and I've had some here in Nanjing too, that I can say I maybe one or two, right? But I don't know why the division has to carry over in the international sector where we are. I know I felt a lot of that back in the US, right? Everybody trying to climb to, that crab barrel. Everybody trying to climb to the top for some reason.
Right.
And without pulling back, reaching back and helping others.
Right.
And I just thought coming here, a part of it as well, I was excited about.
Yeah.
Coming abroad, that will be something that was eliminated. Right? Yeah. That I will find my group of people and we'll embrace each other and we'll win together because we're here together for hopefully the same purpose, to have a better life and to grow and experience new things. But I found some of that same attitude and some of those same moments happen here. And sometimes it saddens me because I've had to leave a couple of friendships behind recently.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm not trying to get anything from you, but it feels like you're trying to get things from me.
Yeah.
And that's not how relationship works.
Not for me.
It's reciprocated. You call me, I call you, not all the time. But you call me.
We be having shit going on. Let's just be honest.
Life happens.
Life happens hard.
Tell me about it. But at least extend the, make sure it comes back. I shouldn't be the only one trying to follow up on you.
Well, no.
I'm hoping, but look, make sure that love comes back towards me as well. So I'm not asking for much. I don't want nothing. I just want to make sure, again, that you win because that's my wish and hope for you as a person.
I love
it. But it's difficult. It's difficult being a Black woman in an international setting where you don't see much of us. I am right now only one in my school.
Same. In high school.
And I'm in primary. And, with the friends that I have, my primary students, they know and pinpoint everything. I change my hair every 2 weeks. That's a given.
So, because when I got this hair color, they was like, something is different. I'm like, is it?
Really? I've had this thing. I think I'm gonna get a t-shirt. Remember my face, not my hair.
Listen, because it's gonna change.
get over that part. And I think I've not trained, I will not say trained. I think I've educated enough a little bit this year to know that change is good.
Yes.
It's Black girl magic. It's what it is. Move on.
Get your son.
I'm the only Black counselor y'all have.
Wow.
So if you see a Black girl walking around, other than my daughter that also looks like me, but as a counselor, if I'm walking in your classroom with my counseling material, do not be surprised. That is me.
Listen, you gotta have a whole backstory. We gotta like preempt and prepare.
How did you do it? Oh God.
Like, that's a different conversation, sweetheart. We're here right now to talk about mental health and relationships. Okay, let's get with the program.
You're affecting my mental health right now.
Oh, and we're gonna talk about that. So I want to know, like, I often ask this question, did you choose China or did China choose you?
Ooh, good question. I think China chose me. I interviewed for some places in Dubai early on, and when I thought I weighed the pros and cons, because my idea, again, this is where assumptions will get you in a mess. I assumed China was so zen. So zen. I was like, oh my God, we're gonna take naps. We're gonna be like doing yoga. we're gonna be embracing this culture of peace and calmness.
Baby, listen. Okay.
So I paused on that. But we got here and it was so unique how it happened. I was just, I've actually tried for several years to get us abroad. And the last one, I started in 2012, like thinking, we need to go. I was telling my husband, and it wasn't the right time. I didn't have my son into 2014. And thankfully we waited, because then I really got serious about the intentions of being abroad and being an educator. Because in the States, it was at that point, it wasn't as concerning as it is now. I would never go back and do anything in the States because of my kids' safety and for my mental health too.
Exactly.
And China fell in my lap. It fell in my lap. I interviewed like in October, like the first part of October. I got the job like 2-3 days later.
Wow.
And we were like, it was like Zoom. Everything was so fast at that point. My head was spinning.
Like they can't play no games, because when they see a qualified one, they already know, first of all, it's somebody else that's trying to collaborate and get this person. So I need to be serious.
Yeah. So it went so fast. I really didn't. I felt like I didn't have time to even catch my breath. Wow. So to answer your question, I think back, China chose us.
Yeah. Let me ask you, so if you were, or I'll say because just to put it out there, folks, we are part of this burgeoning collective, the Black Global Counseling Collective. Oh, I just love it. And we have so much that we're going to be putting out into the world for Black clinicians. And I'm hoping like mentorship is definitely one of those things. I was actually talking to somebody yesterday, and I want to know your perspective. When you begin to mentor other Black clinicians that are either currently abroad or seeking to become abroad or making a transition, what would be some things that you'd want them to consider in a country or a place of work?
So one, I would want them to think about, if they're first, really see if it's a great school to go to.
Yes.
Look at some of the reviews, look at their hiring, their retention rate.
Yes.
Maybe connect and ask questions on LinkedIn or Facebook, find people who have been there.
Yeah.
Because no one can tell you what it's really like other than someone who's left or is there. Right. So that would be my first thing when you're thinking about traveling abroad. Connect with somebody, find out what the work environment would be for you. Is this something that you could see yourself doing for 2 or 3 years? Okay. Then looking at the country aspect. How many Black people there? Like how many people look like you? you might see or might not see. Like, ask those questions. How diverse
matters.
is it? Yes, representation matters. Like, see how open they are to people of diverse backgrounds. You gotta ask those questions. I don't think I asked enough questions when it came to that when I first got here 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Because I was like, again, I was in this idea that it was gonna be Zen all day long, not knowing how hard the language barrier was going to be.
Yeah.
And the cultural differences, right? And then if you're bringing a family, a dog, or, your children, ask about how that works with, connect with families that might be in the same idea or thinking about that, because I feel that if it didn't work for my children, I wasn't going to stay.
Yeah.
No need for me to stay. Why punish them or put them through a situation where they weren't going to at least love it or like it and grow from it, right? Yeah. So in that, and then also find a group, connect with Black people in that country or in your school if you have a group, because again, community is everything. You need to know where to get your hair done, where to buy your clothes,
good wigs.
Look, you need so you don't look crazy when they taking all these pictures of you.
Ooh, because that part right there. Ooh, just walking down the street in your own head, and you got it's like what's going on?
Look, okay, you need to know how to set your life up before you arrive, or at least if you are going to a place that might check all your boxes but don't have maybe the essentials, then how to prepare for that before you enter, how to make sure, because it's nothing like the first month in a new place and not knowing what to expect or not having the support you need.
Yeah.
Make sure you have support going in. Ask questions over and over again. And link up with someone that might know the language, might know the culture a little bit more than you. Ask for help. Where you're going to reside. All that's important. But build your community first.
Yeah.
As mentoring anybody, I say build your community. Know what it is. Ask questions. Talk to people who are there, who have left. Figure out if that is a proper school for what you want to do.
Right.
Because it might not be, and that is okay.
Right. And knowing that everybody has their own experience, right? I would definitely say if we're sharing anything with prospective clinicians of color, Black people that want to come abroad, it is really important for you to have a good understanding of what your work means to you and the social justice aspect of that, because coming into international schools and having any kind of brown kids, it's going to be a social justice issue. Always. Like, I'm the only Black woman in my high school. And, I shared this with the group before that somebody, and then I found out who it was, and it makes me laugh. But someone said that I was a diversity hire, which, pissed me off. I'm like, the audacity, like, baby, look at my resume. It is better than the 3 prior to. And for me to even feel like I needed to say that to defend myself against whomever is a challenge. And if you're coming abroad, you really have to be rooted and firm, one, in who you are as a person. Yeah. Your clinical skills, right? And just really be forward-thinking, collaborative, but have in my perspective, a strong social justice framework, because it is glaring when you come into schools that claim to be progressive, and they're not when it comes to race and culture.
No, that's that part too, Kendall, where you need to know what their standards and expectations are. Exactly. Meaning what is their hiring policy, or when they're hiring people, are they looking for people of diverse backgrounds? Are they willing to, is there Jedi work going on? Are they really thriving in, social justice? Are they having those conversations with their staff and their students?
Yeah.
Those are the parts, because a part of mental health too is, do I feel seen? Do I feel like I belong? Do I fit? Is there support for me?
Yeah.
Is there are they really looking out for my well-being as a person?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And if that's not happening in your school, then and as a Black person, as a Black parent, if that's not happening in the school that I currently reside in, that's not the school for my family to thrive in. Right? So yeah, I agree with you. It is always social justice work that needs to be done. And I'm thankful for the current school I'm at. We are really, our aim in all of our conversation is that.
That's good.
Even though no school is perfect, there's still work to be done in that area. I do see that. But I love the fact that we're having conversation. We have policy around hiring now that talks about diversity and balance. Awesome. We have students, and one of my good friends who is working as one of the JEDI workers, who piggybacks on conversations we have all the time about Black kids being seen, people of diverse backgrounds being heard, making room and safe space for those people to feel like this is their community. I love the fact my son runs to school. He was like, I'm out. I'm going to school.
Because he's safe, for one. Ain't nothing going to happen to him.
No, nothing's going to happen. Look,
walking down the road. Now somebody might look at you crazy. They might honk their horn at you, but you're not finna get.
I don't even think he looks at all that stuff that's going on. It's more so me. Stop looking at my son. Stop taking pictures of my son. But that's me.
Yeah.
But he feels like that's his school.
I love it. Oh, just to be
my daughter. She's
now we know she excellent, child. Both of them excellent.
But babe, it is for her. I feel her a little bit more.
Yeah.
She needs a friend that looks like her.
Yeah.
And with being international, everyone's been kind. There's some things, there's challenges.
Yeah.
But I wish that for her, that she had a friend that looks like me and you. Yeah. So 3 more years of high school, we'll see how that works. My goal while I'm there, if I find somebody that's qualified, I'm going to recommend you come.
Oh, let's go.
Bring your children, bring yourself, because it's important that representation is there.
Yeah.
And just be me.
It shouldn't, and it won't continue to be, right? Which it makes it hard sometimes, because sometimes I feel like we have the weight of the world on our shoulders. It feels like that back home too, but it's a bit of a microscope here, a bit more of a microscope here. And I can imagine for your daughter to be, I think it's challenging anywhere in the world to be an excellent Black girl, an excellent Black woman, right? And community for us is so important. I'm hoping and praying that for baby girl, that she gets her chosen people. So let me ask you this experience of intentionally becoming an expat, being abroad with your family, I'm curious about how this experience has changed your life, and like how living this life has shifted your perspective and priorities.
Oh, wow. I thought it was about family first, right? Prior to moving here. But the other side of that, when I sit in that question, I wasn't when I was in the States, because I was trying to make a name for myself. I was trying to put myself out there, and that came with sometimes some moments where I couldn't really be as focused on the things of my family. I would have late night meetings, functions, schoolwork. It didn't create my experience in the States as I was coming up in my career, didn't make a lot of space for that, right? Family vacations were shortened because I had to get right back to school. I had to get right back to work. And even though I preach family, I don't think, and this is probably one of the harshest truths I had to share about myself. I still wasn't as connected as I should have been, right? Here, I have no excuse. I have no excuse but to embrace that.
Yeah.
One, because we are all we got.
Girl, listen. And that's for those who got it. I'm like me. I'm over here by myself, so it's like, oh Jesus.
So you know, right? You embrace those alone times. You embrace those moments where you have to be really reflective of yourself because this is all you got.
Yeah.
And as a family, especially with being here during the whole time of COVID, we were here all during COVID.
Oh wow.
We've learned to appreciate the family that we have, you know, because my daughter can't call my mama and get me in trouble for something I did.
What's she gonna do? Come to China?
She's another continent. We don't know her. She's another continent. So we built this stronger family base. And I think for me, that means more than anything I've done career-wise, anything I've done where I've helped like programs and activities in the States. The base here, I'm glad I got a chance to really embrace this family, this new family, because I think that is just more important than anything I've ever done. So to answer your question, that is the biggest change and the biggest growth that I think we've done here is that they are everything to me. And I mean that with all of my heart and my being. And I'll share a little personal part. I've had a health crisis. And you know, so the world knows.
We be sending all the prayers. I believe in vibes and juju. It's prayers, child.
Yes, I was diagnosed in 2021 in October with breast cancer stage 3. And I was like, oh my God, I'm abroad. I'm a Black girl abroad, Black woman abroad, dealing with this severe major, is according to my, it's like, it's a mess. And I'm doing this through Chinese doctors. And I'm like, Lord, help me. What do I do in this space? And I couldn't do nothing but embrace the family, the chosen family that I had here and my family. But there were some other outliers, some people on the outs that took me to doctors, fed me, changed my bandages. I'm not gonna cry. I'm good. But
if you do, it's fine. Girl, I didn't ugly cried on here before. It's okay.
Say it out loud. It's just when you ask the question, you say it out loud, and to answer this part, it's that I'm being taken care of in a way that I don't know if I would have in the States, in that way. I know my parents and everyone who have loved and prayed for me and showered me got that. But it's something different when you are abroad and it's just you, your family, and God, right?
Yeah.
And when it's you, your family, and God, that shapes you. That puts other things in perspective. And I tell you, Kendall, this was the best move in my life because I got the health care I needed. I got I got a time to sit in that space with God and ask him questions about myself without all of the noise from people. And those things matter. My family sat in that space with me, held my hand when I lost all my hair. I mean, people brought me soup. It's just
community.
I have one more treatment. I have one more treatment next week. I've had 3 surgeries, 25 rounds of radiation, months of chemo. I'm blessed.
Yes, you are.
I hands down, I'm blessed. I'm grateful. And my perspective has changed because God has given me more in this life than I thought that I would. And while I have this life, while I'm still breathing, moving, being cute, I am going to sing. I'm going to share his word. I'm going to be that person to support people. I'm going to love people. And I'm going to be that strong Black girl in front of my daughter, my husband, my son, because they need that. But not all that. It's just, it's important that people know that change is good. Take risk.
Yes.
Believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful. Like when you share with us, you know, the challenge, the health challenge, I hope that you felt immediately like all the love and support that we were able to give, you know, the prayers and things that we sent from all over the world.
Yes, from Nigeria to Dubai to
Listen,
everywhere.
you got them coming
Our hands are
everywhere.
extended. Our hands are
Yes.
extended, and to know that again, that I have that love and support from you all too. That's just another part of why my living abroad is important.
Yeah.
You know, oh, and I want to say this because I know people are viewing and listening or whatever. I just want to also say that I am clear. I don't have the tumors anymore. All has been removed. We're just doing precautionary moments to make sure that there's no little small particles running around, even though I knew God already took care of it. I just wanted to make sure I also did my part with the doctors. And
that's the important part though. That fear takes over and it is paralyzing. And
look, yeah.
I posted like one of the things that I post all the time, and it literally said moving abroad saved my life.
Yes.
I hear you share these additional details, just the access to healthcare, right? Yes. The cocooning of a closer community, being able to just really have the time to heal, be with your family, things that I imagine help improve this process and your prognosis. Yeah. It's really challenging to think that would it be this effective if you were back in the States?
Girl, they were talking about do a GoFundMe account. My family, everybody once I start for a moment in time, we kept it really tight to the chest. Because want to make sure that the people were praying, we were all on the same page. That people weren't trying to do their own additional diagnosis. Right?
We know.
But when we did share, and it was still the idea was supportive, but it was like GoFundMe accounts. We're gonna get you a GoFundMe account. We're gonna do this and that. And then during that time where I think we had a couple of friends who weren't able to go to their cancer treatments because it was backed up. Some of they were on a waiting list, you know, the resources were scarce.
Yeah.
And I was like, what kind of situation would I have been in? You know, we have to do a second mortgage. We don't know how it would have rolled out. But here, my current job paid for all of my procedures.
Wow.
Before even coming on, they extended the insurance so I could take care of the 25 rounds of radiation.
Wow.
Right. And then my previous job, the insurance was amazing too. I only had to do 10% copays of all of the surgeries. And I've had 3 surgeries with them, chemotherapy every 3 weeks or whatever. Stuff is not cheap. It was not even a worry. It was like, okay, just pay this, do this 10% of 20,000. Then you just pay the 10%.
Wow.
For your medicine for the week. So, you know, I don't know what situation I would have been in if I would have been home.
Right.
I know my parents and people would have done what they need to do to take care of me, but I had no worry on the financial side. I just needed to be home and get better. here in China. Lay down, do what you're supposed to do. Let us know if there's issues, whatever.
Yeah.
And the idea of the surgeons I've had, they were so positive about the whole process.
Wow.
That it was, let's move forward. Let's get it done. Let's keep moving. And that helped my level of hope. Even though I knew I had hope in Jesus, I wanted also to have hope in who was going in my body.
Right.
So when I think about all of this, I am where I'm supposed to be.
Exactly.
Where I'm supposed to be. Right here in China. And the coolest thing about this is that the last treatment will be next week. I get on the plane on the 23rd to go home to celebrate everything's done.
I love it. Oh my God.
Done.
Testimony, child. Testimony.
I don't know. That first moment back in church gonna be real serious.
Listen, they might as well let you up in the pulpit, child, because
they better not give me a mic. They better not give me a
mic. Get your tears and handkerchiefs ready, people.
Girl, that first Sunday will be real serious at church. Somebody church, I don't know, but
listen,
I sit here I share all of that.
Just gratitude.
I'm just happy. I'm just excited. I'm just grateful. I'm here breathing, living. And I know that there's a purpose. Someone said something recently that if you're still on this side of the world breathing, then that's something says there's something important. There's something you need to still do. And I don't know what that something is. I know, I love what I do as far as working with children and helping people. So let's do that. Let's make that more impactful.
Yeah.
Do my part.
For sure. I think that I wonder, I think all of us have this collective mission, one that we didn't necessarily ask for, but just being Black women abroad, Black clinicians abroad, mental health, professionals, that right there is an open door to sharing the importance, knowledge, life experience surrounding mental health, mental illness, stigma, cultural practices that lend itself to healing. And so in that vein, I want to ask you, when we all have, I don't know. Okay. So growing up, I think that we all have similar experiences related to messaging or not about mental health, mental illness. And I'm curious to know that as a mom, as a clinician, as someone living abroad that's gone through some tenuous situations that I'm sure have challenged you and your family's mental health, what does that messaging sound like from you when it comes to prioritizing mental health, mental wellness in the same vein as physical wellness? What does that sound like?
Oh, wow. So I'll give you a prime example, because I feel it's important that you stay in tune with whatever your body is doing, feeling. Everything about how I'm feeling or responding to things affects my mental health. And the messages I share with my children as mom, if you are not well, if you feel like there's either something going on with how you're focusing or how you feel internally, and I'm just going to use it on the school side, and you don't think you can go to school today, take a mental health day. That's okay. As a kid, it's okay for you to say, Mom, Dad, I'm not here, I'm not focused today. If there's some deeper things, then of course let's deal with that. But if I'm tired, I need a moment. My daughter said, can I just check in and go to third block? Okay, stay and sleep until you are ready and well and willing to go. We do that from time to time, because I don't want my children, and this is on the mama hat side, to grow up thinking they have to do. Push through. And not rest.
Yes.
Ooh. And not embrace their feeling and not really be in tune to what they're feeling. Because I grew up like that. We just keep going. We don't check in. We don't say a word. We don't even do any type of reflection. We just keep going. And that's what I didn't want for my children as a mom. So that's the part. And I demonstrate that more now. I think since my diagnosis, I demonstrate that more now. Rest, lay down, say no to things. It's okay to like, I can't. And when people cancel, I'm not upset. When people, I'm okay. Yes,
Okay.
let's reschedule. And when it comes to the physical, I'm getting back, for me, because of all that's going on with me and since 2021, I'm getting back to the physical myself. It has been touch and go. I'll start strong on a Monday, Tuesday is over. So going to the gym and doing various things, and it's a work in progress, because I often I really feel tired a lot due to some of the things that I have to go through.
Right.
But it's necessary. And I encourage my kids to be very active. But I also, again, balance it with sometimes it's okay just to pause.
Yeah.
And not have to do. But I also share this with my children at school. Use these effective coping strategies. Calm down, do your body breaths, listen to your body.
Yes.
Find a calm corner, whatever gets you to, be able to refocus. Let's do that. Just because you having a bad day, don't mess up anybody else's day. I think that's what Tabitha says. So I'll be using that.
I was like, go be miserable by yourself. We not trying to spread the misery. Okay.
Don't mess up nobody else's day because you having a bad one. So yeah, those are the things. I do some practical things, because those are the practical messages that I use at school, and I just incorporate it in my everyday. Self-care is important, and you have to figure out what that is for you. Right now, at the moment, self-care is just relaxing, watching some videos and just chilling. It's too hot to be outside. Too hot to be doing stuff out. So I just rather relax and center.
I agree. All those sound like practical, like you said, amazing, actionable things that you can do consistently to help bring yourself back up to a healthy baseline of functioning. I just wish people recognize that. I think the hardest step about making your mental health priority is, one, recognizing you need to.
Yes.
That pre-contemplation and contemplation is like, do I actually have a problem? Admitting that there is something actively occurring in my life that I'm either aware of or not that is impacting how I'm living. And I want to be strong enough to face that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You can be in denial all day if the problem still persists.
Yep. It's still gonna be there.
It's still gonna be there. And the longer we wait, it could even intensify. And I noticed that a lot in our communities, that we know something ain't right. But and for very real reasons, let's just say there's a lot of mistrust of the medical community and the Black community, all valid. However, when we talk about, God and faith and trusting him to put the appropriate people in our life, sometimes it looks like people like you and I, who are mental health clinicians who also believe in God, who you can go to church and go to therapy.
Yes, it goes together.
Things can happen.
It can go together.
Right. Girl, I love our people, and sometimes I'll be like, we can do more.
Yeah, yeah.
With just the shift in understanding of what healing can look like. I can go on this particular one.
But I think to add to to piggyback on just a great segue is that the part of the trust too, but also we want a quick fix. I want it. Okay, I might need to do a makeover of my body. I know how that's supposed to go. Like I should work out. I could look at how I'm eating. How I'm resting, how I'm, what I'm putting into my mind for my mental health. But I'd rather go and get something else done. And this is not a hit to what's recently happened in our world and in our community. This is not a hit on that. Just we need to sometimes take the time. Your choices are your choices. Let me say this. But take the time to figure out what's going to be best for you.
Right.
When it comes to that process or any process. And some things are not quickly done. Sometimes it takes the work, and then in the work is painful. It's hard. You might not like what you uncover about yourself, but do the work.
Yeah. Yes. I keep hearing my daddy, he's like, y'all that microwave generation, you on everything now. Yeah, if I can have it, sure. But then I think about the things that I've had to toil for.
Yeah.
Have mattered so much more, that I have so much more appreciation for. And that's not knocking anybody. That you do what makes you happy. But when we think about sustained wealth, health, progress, you have to be actively, like you said, engaged in that work consistently. Those are psychological, behavioral, lifestyle shifts, right?
Yes.
Those are paradigm shifts. Those are not hit or miss, one hit or quitter. Yeah, that might be something to get the work started. I don't know, right?
Right.
It works for you.
Right.
But when it comes to that lasting wellness, that when you see the effects and you feel the accomplishment, those are things that you have to be in. It's like gardening. I love gardening.
Okay.
We can go buy the stuff, we can go buy the plants. However, if you want that sustained year after year, you got to cultivate, you got to start from seed.
Yeah.
You're pulling up weeds, you are reaping benefits, reaping the harvest, and then something doesn't work out. So you retool and trying to figure out, all right, what's the best thing to do now? Yeah, I used to do this. That doesn't work for me anymore. That helped me to survive. I'm not in survival mode anymore. I'm thriving now. So I have to do something differently.
Yeah.
I don't know where we are as a people, collective culture. Sometimes I feel like there's always an element of survival just with the nature of how we came to this world.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What does it look like for us to move from that to injecting more thriving into our lives?
I think when we stop competing against each other.
Ooh.
And we join forces together, like just because you have something or you're doing something that maybe I want to do, or whatever, instead of competing against that, why not I ask you questions and figure out how I can either join forces or we can take it over together.
Yeah.
We can take it over together. And I think because of how the systems have been set up, I feel that we're always going to be in competition. We're always going to be until someone or a group of people change the narrative. And I don't know who that group will be. I don't know if it starts with me and you and the collective. I don't know. I'm willing to be, I'm not in competition with anybody. I don't want to compete with anybody. If you got something going on that's something that I like or I want to be a part of, I'm going to support you. I'm going to bleed whatever the color is. If you said it's red over on yours, I'm over here in the red team. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know. I don't want to say I don't think. It just seems like we can't get out of our own way.
It's challenging.
And that is the hardest part, because if we would join forces, Black folks all across this country and world.
But everybody else know it too. Oh my God, what if they just wake up one day and they figure it out? Girl, we're in trouble. I have Right. We have just a few more questions. Like we're talking about like the building and then the just the healing. And in my head, all of that requires you to be vulnerable and put yourself out there. So I'm curious, what are your thoughts on just like personal vulnerability and maybe even professional vulnerability? What does that mean to you?
It's I've had many challenges. I'm talking from a grown woman perspective now. um I grew up where whatever happens in this house stays in this house, right? So that carried me throughout my adult upbringing. Who I am is always the mantra in my head. Whatever happens here stays here. But that has caused many issues with being vulnerable to people and things and it's so funny how I became a counselor in that same space, because I'm in the helping field and we should help people. We should share our stories. We should make it known, not in a way where, again, for people to take advantage of the story or take advantage of the situation, but to share so that we can have that healing and that community. And I honestly don't think I embraced that until my diagnosis.
Oh, wow.
And I was 41 at that point. I didn't really embrace that until I had to. But it also became a part of my biggest strength recently. Because now I'm unhinged. If you tell me there's something going on with you physically, I'm immediately going to start praying for you. We're going to move forward and I'm going to be in your corner. But to me, it seems like, if I think about it, something major like this happened in my life. It's not saying it's the reason it happened, but another shift happened for me. Is to be vulnerable, is to be open. I can be vulnerable with my husband, somewhat with my kids, but I wasn't with other people outside of that. My mom, outside of that, I didn't want to know, because then I didn't want people to be poor pity me. I need to show this level of strength, but there's strength in being vulnerable and being open and sharing and connecting. It's powerful because you don't know what that other person is experiencing or might have a connection. It might be a connection there that needs to be embraced. All right. So on a professional side, only very few I share my recent experiences, because Kendall, not the other part, sometimes people just don't care. Right?
Yeah.
So you got to figure out, it's almost in that relationship building, who do I think might be in my corner to really support me?
Yeah.
And that sometimes comes with trial and error. I've shared some things with people and thought they were 100% in. And when it got too much, like cues, and I don't overwhelm people with my story. But if it became maybe I shared maybe twice and you were like, I don't want to hear no more, then that's done. Because either I'm not giving you what you want, or the attention is too much on me and not on you. So again, trial and error relationships. But I've found my community who they check in on me.
Yeah.
And I've been able to be vulnerable in that space. They hold a safe space for me. I hold a safe space for a lot of people. But a lot of people weren't holding that same safe space for me. And I realized that. And when I checked that, I was like, okay, you're not the community I need to be vulnerable with. You are surface level. And that is okay.
Yeah.
And that is okay. And that's how I move forward. But my previous job, I didn't tell anybody. I take that back. I had 3 friends, colleagues, and I shared, because I just I wanted them to know when I was absent. But everyone else, even the higher ups, didn't even know I was doing chemo. They didn't care.
Wow.
They didn't care. They probably saw that huge insurance bill, But other than that, I don't think they cared enough. And again, I don't go to work for people to be in that space. But it is better when you do have some people that got your back no matter what.
Exactly. Especially abroad. Especially abroad. And so all of that matters. And that's part of the work of adulting, as they say, is really figuring out, one, it's hard to exist in this life alone. And
Right.
so in order to be connected, be well, how do I put myself out there to make the healthiest connections, right? And to be aware and set boundaries when the signs are showing this ain't it, honey.
Yeah.
I think my last two questions would be, at this phase of your life, what does healing look like for you? What does sustained healing look like for you?
Sustained healing look like for me? Peace of mind. Like really, I don't worry about my kids over here. My children, my two children. I don't worry about them. And when I say don't worry about their safety, right? I'm thinking about all the things that are happening in my country, America. I don't worry about Kirsten and Jordan here. I don't. And I'm okay to mention their names. I don't, but I don't worry about them, their safety here. And that sustains me as a mother. I think being able to not worry about financial concerns. I'm okay over here. Like I have no concerns.
More than okay.
I, you know,
We straight, folks.
we're
We're trying to get y'all over here so y'all can be straight.
Like, come on, where the land is plenty. And I'm not worried. I'm not concerned about my job and career because I feel like I'm making waves. I'm making, some strides there. I'm connecting, and the other part more so, I think I'm not worried about my health anymore. Not in that way, where I was like, oh, what's happening? But sustainable mental health and wellness looks like peace. That's it for me. Looks like peace. Yeah.
I love it. I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy that you're in my life, that we've connected. It matters so much. Like, we're not that far away. And I know like next year, I'm hoping that we're able to do more to say, to just spend time and stuff. But I'm wondering your final words for the audience when you think about the advancement of our work, right? Just being present as clinicians, as Black women in the world that are trying to change things. I'm wondering, what would you hope for the future of the work that we're trying to do, the future of the lives that we're living?
I hope that more Black women, and we need some Black men too. We need all of y'all, actually.
Yeah.
I hope that more people like us will venture out, because you're so needed around the world. Not just, US, okay, got it. Atlanta, got it.
They got them, child. They got the good ones in Atlanta. Listen,
you branch out, because your level of expertise, friends out there in the world, is necessary. I feel necessary. I feel valued. I feel like I'm making a difference. And I feel like I'm growing as a person. And that in turn, hopefully, spreads out, and the people I'm around feel like I'm impacting their lives. My children are impacted by my decisions. So I just hope that more people like us will venture out and branch out, take risk. If you don't like it, go back after 2 years. Do what you gotta do, go back. Trust me. Trust me. If you try it, you won't come back.
And you end up at a good school.
This is true too.
Like that work environment matters. If you try it and you in a good space, there you will not, because you get enough vacations, right? You get to go and they're paid for.
Yeah, look, I wouldn't have been able to do this from America to go to Thailand every year. How? But and we're talking about being in Asia, talking about being in China. But there are great schools all over the world.
Yep.
My hope is that we will be impactful. People will take risk. We will band together more, support each other more, and really take over. And it's not a takeover, but share our level of expertise and our knowledge with the world as a clinician of color, if you want to do color or Black, but as a Black woman,
yeah,
I appreciate what I do and bring to my students, grades 3, 4, and 5. I love what I'm able to do with them, and that they listen to me, which is always so interesting to me. But like, yo, you heard me,
right?
But bring you to the table. Bring all you have to offer to the table.
Yeah.
Try it. Do it.
This is a total endorsement for coming abroad, folks. If you haven't figured it
out, come, and you will forever be changed. And you can say, you know what? I spent 2 years somewhere. I got whatever I got out of it, and then go back home. But I guarantee you'll grow as a person, and in your field you'll grow, and it will be one of the best decisions that you could ever make, because hands down, it tops. This is a part of who I am now. I'm grateful for.
Exactly. And nobody can take it away from you.
Nope. I will never work in a American system school in the United States again.
Ever. Unless I'm contract, not even that, because I ain't gonna be there long enough.
Nah. I can do some things online, but wow. I'm not coming to your school. I'm not coming to your school.
Okay, I'm not. Listen.
No, because it affected my mental health.
A lot.
Yeah, I couldn't do enough. I didn't have resources. I didn't have support from admin. I was always trying to figure out what new policies were changing. Kids weren't being served properly. I didn't want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a part of that. And I want my work to matter.
Yeah. Fact. I agree with everything.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us how we can follow your journey, stay connected with you, please, ma'am.
Oh, well, so I'm on WeChat. I'll send it in the links below. And I'm on Facebook and I'm on Instagram. My tag on Instagram is iwin_Joyner. I believe that this is the best part of my years, and I'm excited. So if you follow me, what you will see is probably a bunch of comical reels, but also things that talk about faith, talk about family, and talk about community. Yeah. And let's do this stuff together. Yeah. So yeah, that's me.
Thank you. I am so happy, Q, that you shared your journey with us today. And so for everyone that is following, paying attention, listening, joining in, I want to thank you for tuning into the Black Expat Experience again. And we're hoping that you come back for the next episode and that you share. I encourage you to keep taking risks, impacting your communities, and above all, prioritizing your mental health. We grow when you help us grow. And I am just hoping that you stay connected, that these episodes are adding value, and that you continue to join on this journey that we're on. So thank you, be well. And with that, we are going to say, bid adieu. Bye.